Hello students, today's point of discussion is dihydric alcohols and basically we are going to discuss ethylene glycol, which happens to be very first member of this family. Now dihydric alcohols are the hydroxy derivatives of hydrocarbon other than aromatic hydrocarbon, remember. So two hydrogen atoms of hydrocarbon when replaced by two hydroxyl groups, then the derivative so obtained is said to be dihydric alcohol. For example, consider ethane. Ethane can be given as, so CH3, this is ethane. When two hydrogen atoms from this is replaced by two hydroxyl groups, then the derivative so obtained is nothing but a dihydric alcohol, and this is popularly known as ethylene glycol. So in simple words, one can say that hydroxy derivatives of alkane obtained by replacing two hydrogen atoms of alkane by two hydroxyl groups are called as the dihydric alcohols. Now remember, dihydric alcohols are further classified on the basis of relative positions of hydroxyl groups into alpha, beta, gamma, etc. And we are going to discuss 1,2-diols. 1,2-diols are popularly known as glycols. So ethylene glycol is very commercially important ingredient whatever we are going to discuss right now. And general formula for the glycols, general formula is CnH2n plus 2O2. So this is the general formula where N is a number of carbon atoms. I mean, by putting the value of N in this general formula, one can get the molecular formula of the respective glycols. Now we are going to discuss very important thing, I mean the methods of preparation. So methods of preparation of ethylene glycol. So number of methods of preparation to prepare what ethylene glycol can be explained. Let's discuss few. So very first method of preparation is from ethylene. So ethylene is member of alkene. Remember, starting from ethylene, ethylene glycol can be obtained in two distinct ways. So very first and important is using Bayer's reagent. By using Bayer's reagent. Now Bayer's reagent is alkaline KMnO4 solution, remember. So Bayer's reagent is alkaline KMnO4 solution, which is pink in color. So when cold dilute alkaline KMnO4 solution is treated with ethylene, then the hydroxylation takes place, I must say. And remember, this is the syn addition or syn hydroxylation, and with the help of which the incoming product is the diol, that is ethylene glycol. And prime thing to be noted right here is the disappearance of the pink color of potassium permanganate. So as pink color get disappeared, this may be seen as a test for unsaturation. I mean, one can test the presence of double bonds in a given sample using this test, and this is very famous under the name Bayer's test. So what happens? Ethylene undergo syn hydroxylation syn hydroxylation to form ethylene glycol, and pink color of potassium permanganate, that is KMnO4, disappears. This is the key factor. So disappearance of pink color can be seen by naked eye, and from this we can come to the conclusion that the sample possesses double bond in it. So let's see the reaction. For example, so ethylene can be given as CH2 double bond CH2. When we use alkaline KMnO4, then the hydroxylation takes place. We know very well KMnO4 is potential oxidizing agent, so it undergoes reduction providing nascent oxygen, and thereby syn hydroxylation takes place, and that lead to the formation of ethylene glycol. In this way ethylene glycol can be produced primarily, and secondly this reaction can be used as a test to identify the presence of unsaturation character in a compound under the name Bayer's test. Another big thing is similarly hydroxylation can be bring about using peracid, and remember when we use peracid for this purpose anti-addition takes place. Let's see, ethylene when treated with peracid, that is RCO2OH, this is peracid. So ethylene react with peracid and lead to the formation of ethylene oxide. This is intermediate product, ethylene oxide. Now this ethylene oxide is to be hydrolyzed using dilute acid like HCl, and we do this, then anti-addition takes place, and as a result of which ethylene glycol is obtained. In this way, starting from ethylene glycol prepared in two different ways. Now second method of preparation which can be explained is the reaction of ethylene with oxygen in presence of silver. So what we need to do, we need to heat ethylene with oxygen in presence of silver powder, and that too strong heating is required right here. So ethylene can be mentioned as, when we heat this ethylene with oxygen in presence of silver powder at high temperature, and remember temperature required right here is approximately 200 to 400 degrees Celsius. So on heating ethylene with oxygen we may receive ethylene oxide first of all, and this ethylene oxide is to be hydrolyzed by using dilute acid like HCl. So upon hydrolysis ethylene glycol is obtained, which can be given as. So in this way ethylene glycol can be produced. Then third very important thing is the reaction of ethylene with hypochlorous acid, that is HOCl, followed by hydrolysis, and remember this is industrial method to prepare ethylene glycol. I mean the commercial method, ethylene glycol is prepared in bulk by using this method. And remember, for hydrolysis purpose we need to use sodium bicarbonate. So let's see what happens. So when ethylene is treated with HOCl, that is hypochlorous acid, then simple addition takes place, and addition of hypochlorous acid to ethylene give rise to the ethylene chlorohydrin, which can be given as, this is ethylene chlorohydrin. Now ethylene chlorohydrin so obtained is to be hydrolyzed by using NaHCO3, that is sodium bicarbonate. So when we do this, that lead to the formation of our product, that is ethylene glycol, along with NaCl, and evolution of CO2 can also be seen. So in this way, ethylene glycol is prepared in large scale or in commercial manner. Then next to this, one can prepare ethylene glycol from 1,2-dibromoethane also. Remember, 1,2-dibromoethane is vicinal dihalide. So fourth method of preparation is from 1,2-dibromoethane. Remember, 1,2-dibromoethane is a vicinal dihalide, and vicinal dihalides are those in which two halogen atoms are attached to the adjacent carbon atoms. So starting from vicinal dihalide like 1,2-dibromoethane, one can prepare ethylene glycol using sodium carbonate. So what we need to do, we need to heat this ethylene dibromide with aqueous solution of Na2CO3. So when we do this, that directly lead to the formation of ethylene glycol along with NaBr, and liberation of CO2 is expected as well. So in this manner, one can prepare ethylene glycol, and remember, this is a laboratory method. So in short scale, ethylene glycol can be produced in this manner. Similarly, in order to convert 1,2-dibromoethane into ethylene glycol, we can do that in different manner also. So what we need to do, we need to treat this with potassium acetate in presence of acetic acid. So by doing this, departure of bromine takes place in the form of KBr, and that lead to the formation of an intermediate product that can be given in this manner. Remember, this is glycol diacetate. This is called as glycol diacetate. Now this glycol diacetate is to be treated with dilute NaOH solution. So by doing this, one can get ethylene glycol along with what? Sodium salt of acetic acid as a byproduct. In this way, ethylene glycol can be produced by different ways. Now we shall discuss the physical properties of ethylene glycol. Remember, ethylene glycol is an important ingredient and which is popularly used as a solvent. Remember, so let's discuss some of the physical properties of it. So very first thing to be noted is ethylene glycol is colorless. First of all, it is colorless, syrupy liquid. Second very important thing is it is sweet in taste. It is sweet in taste. And remember, for alcohols, sweetness goes on increasing with increase in number of hydroxyl groups. So greater the number of OH groups in alcohol, greater will be the sweetness, obviously. And very important thing is the boiling point. Remember, its boiling point is quite higher. So its boiling point recorded is 197 degrees Celsius. And most importantly, it is miscible in water and alcohol. So it is miscible in water and alcohols, but insoluble in ethers. It do not dissolve in ether, that is for sure. And when taken orally, ethylene glycol is highly toxic. Remember, it is highly toxic when taken orally, and remember it is as toxic as methyl alcohol when taken orally, so it is deadly poisonous, I must say. And remember, due to solvent property, it is used as a potential solvent and antifreeze in radiators also. So it is used as a solvent and antifreeze in automobile radiator. So these are some of the physical properties of ethylene glycol. Thank you very much.